Hello, everyone, and welcome to the writer's class. Let me just say this one thing. Dang, I'm cute. I think it's the earrings. It's the earring. Okay, y'all got to see these earrings. And no, I'm doing this because Jade is not here. Oh, wow. I got ugly on one side real fast. Hold on. Just look at that side. Those are so. Have you ever seen pearl-looking little dice things? I went shopping for 1940s vintage style jewelry and found these. This was amazing. I am loving this find. Anyway, this you probably came and you were like, she said hi and welcome to the writer's class. Here's a tip about shopping for vintage pearl dice earrings. What? I'm a girl. So things like that happen. And there's no Jade to be like, let's make this fun banter. No, so you get rambling rants and flipping hair. That's what you get. Oh, wait, hold on. There you go. That's a flip. And flipping hair. Anyway, we wrote books. Oh my goodness, I almost forgot all about the books. I was about to be like, oh, let's talk about the guest now. No, this is the third time I've almost done this. Wow, no books around me whatsoever. So, and I thought divorce was bad with other life lessons, and I thought being grown up was easy. If only I were me, a memoir in verse. Widow's Web, Widow's Debt, and Foreign Coffee. That is 6 books, 6 audiobooks. Guess what, y'all? Next, in 8 weeks, we'll have 7 because And I Thought I Did My Journey Alone will finally be read. And before I go on from here, because Jade is not here to defend herself, I'm going to kick her while she's not here. So this is Jade's favorite book. And do you understand? It's taken her 3 years to find a narrator she feels is good enough for this project.
Wow.
Yeah, so she has finally found one and she's like, we're gonna do it. And so in July, y'all, it's going down. And I'm about to cough and cough and cough. And in which case, I sincerely apologize. Let me hurry this up. You're not here to hear, oh, wait. There's another 11 books that you can find on www.andithoughladies.com. I'm not gonna do it again because I'm about to cough for real. You can tell by my facial expressions. And you're not here to hear about me. You're here to hear about a wonderful guest. Wonderful guest, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi. I would. I cough away while I introduce myself. My name's Alexis Williams, and I'm the editor and owner of New Millennium Writings. We're an mostly online literary journal. And annually or thereabouts, we publish an anthology that where we showcase all the writers and their best works that we published already online over the year. And let's see, you said 3 things about myself. So there's my name and what I do. 2 other things. Yeah, my other job is being the mama of a little 5.5-year-old boy, and his name is Julius, and he has 1 speed, and it is full tilt all the way. And his exuberance sometimes exhausts me, but more often than not just delights me and amuses me and makes my heart feel so full. And I'm lucky to be his mom. And I'm lucky that I have a job that lets me be his mom as much as possible. And let's see.
I feel like being a mom is just good enough. That just takes up 2. We're good.
Thank you.
I have to admit that I have never heard anyone say, okay, so I told you my name. That's 1. How many of these have I done? And I've never heard like my name 1. But
it's an important piece of information. I mean, it's kind of where everything starts.
Exactly. So I have to ask, let me announce this first. Segue. Because it's where everything starts. And I'm about to segue, and we don't do that here without celebration. So high five to me. You said it's where everything starts, and I'm gonna go like, so where did your writing journey, your publishing literary journey start? Oh, segue. Oh.
I love it. I love a segue, and I love that you announced the segue. Yes. So New Millennium Writings was started in 1996. So we will be closing in on 3 decades this decade. It started in 1996 by my dad. He was a journalist and columnist, and in that year decided, no, I want to devote myself to writing and supporting and lifting up other writers full time. And I was 16 at the time, so I started first as a humble envelope stuffer and just kind of all around gopher. And then throughout college, I got to become a screener. So I was one of the people in the lower ranks choosing which writers and their works made it up to the next round of judging. And then I just had my hand in it throughout the next 15 years. As helping choose winners, helping edit the anthologies. And then in 2012, he decided that he was ready to pursue other literary endeavors, and I took the business over. So I am celebrating my 10th year at being at the helm as editor and owner of New Millennium Writings. And now I often still kind of do it all.
In a time where many other magazines are finding it hard to thrive. I'm sorry, this is not a question we agreed upon, so I'm just going to go off script.
That's all right.
Oh, I was about to ask, do you mind? But hey, I got the go ahead. And so, what challenges are you facing right now, or have you faced in the past to make this still a magazine?
Well, I think because we have been at it for so long, that's one thing that just helps us keep going. As a matter of fact, the head quote that we have on our submittable page is, "You all have been at this doing well for a very long time." And I think that that makes people feel safe to send us their work. It's a very intimate thing that requires a lot of trust for writers to share their work with us. In some cases, these are things they've been working on for years, and they're ready to let it out into the world. And I think my dad before me and I really try to honor that, and as the gift that it is. And I think people can feel it. People can feel that this is a place that can be trusted.
It's so important to have a place that you feel like you can definitely trust and to put your writing out, because it takes so much to write. And then to put it out in a place and have other people criticize and ridicule it. I find, or not even criticize or ridicule it, or accept it and love it, but just to have people have an opinion about that, that's some
right. Just to offer it up for judgment is.
People tell me it's difficult.
I think it is. And I think it does. It requires a lot of willingness to be vulnerable. And that's a scary thing. And when COVID hit, I worried that it would make people more reluctant. You know, there was a feeling of everyone's world getting smaller, and those social interactions. I know a lot of us have felt the social sides of ourselves shrinking, and are now struggling to kind of regain that aspect of ourselves that we had just always assumed would be there. But luckily for my industry, I think the opposite thing happened. People had more time on their hands. They were alone with their thoughts more often, and were looking for release and escape in one of the few ways that was still available to them. So let's see. All right. I'm about to get pretty vulnerable here myself.
Go for it.
I left my marriage, separated from my now ex-husband, in May of 2020, right when the world was shutting down. Yeah. And thank you. Thank you. It was a hard, scary time, in the midst of a hard, scary time. But I'm proud to say that that summer we had at least one of, if not our best contests ever. And that buoyed me up at a time when I desperately needed to be buoyed. And that's another gift that the writers who support New Millennium Writings gave me. I feel very lucky.
I think it's interesting that this community tends to be there for each other. And for you, it's like a time that you didn't even, they didn't know that you needed them there, but
right
there they were.
right.
Doing exactly what we tend to do for each other. And I wanted to go backwards real quick because I'm a narcissist. So, I feel what I have to say is important. It's the earring show.
The gorgeous, well-shopped earrings.
Thank you. Okay, see, I was about to get distracted. Excuse me. And that cough is still here with me. And no, it's not COVID.
Okay.
Yeah, like Maryland, where I live, is full of pollen. I went to my car yesterday afternoon, and my car is now green, and it's gray. And I'm allergic to so many types of pollen.
Oh my goodness.
Allergy medicine, so I feel like I'm doing pretty darn decent right now.
Yeah, well, when we were talking about which seasons we like the best, and you mentioned that you don't care for spring, I don't think you mentioned the allergy portion of it, but ooh, that's a doozy.
Ooh, it's a terrible spring every spring. Anyway, because I'm sharing more than I should be right now, so don't feel bad. This is a
feels like a safe place.
I'm going to go backwards and say that, like, I find that this is interesting because when people are writing, they often say about like feeling like a safe place. And that's why we're supportive of each other, because we need to create safe spaces. But the thing is that most people don't understand is like when you're a musician, you do the same thing. When you're an actor, you do the same thing. You put so much of yourself out there. And then with a book, you put yourself out there and you put your picture on the back. But I mean, like when you're walking down the street, someone's not going to be like, hey, you sucked in that book. An actor, that's going to happen. You're walking down the street, they're like, you sucked in that movie. So, and then like, this is the one spot where like, you're not the 0.0001% that make it so successful that everybody has something to say. This is a point where you can enter and then people read it and then that person immediately has something to say. So this is as close as we get to being in that entertainment field at the top. You know what I'm saying? Because every review, it's somebody that has something to say about your work that you don't know.
That's so true. I had never thought of it that way. Yeah, I mean, this is the little glimpse into what that kind of public scrutiny must be like.
I remember when we came in and we decided to take a talent manager over a literary agent. My talent manager said, well, recognize it. Welcome to the entertainment industry. And I said, I write books. And she says, well, are books necessary for life? And I said, well, no, not really. I mean, they do educate people, blah, 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 blah. She's like, yeah, but it's not food, clothing, and shelter. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. Like, yeah. And if it's not a school book, it's entertainment.
Yeah,
so
that's like, true.
You're fighting all the other celebrities and time and entertainment and eyeballs out there to be like, hey, spend your time on my entertainment. So I always view it as this part of the entertainment world.
I like that a lot. You're right, because people do only have so much time available for consuming whatever entertainment they choose. Yeah, I like that. You've given me something else to think about.
That's not the point of this podcast. I'm not supposed to be the wise one.
Well, you're very entertaining as well.
Thank you. Let's get back on track. Let me attempt to get back on track. What you kind of already gave us your beginning story, but when your father handed off this magazine, it's not something you had to keep going for 10 years. What made you continue to want to be this creative and support other creatives?
Well, I think with your question, you've hit on the main part of it. I do some writing, I write intros for all the winning selections. And then in our annual anthologies, I write, a 2 or 3 page essay, the foreword, about the theme and content of each issue. But the other writing I do is mostly of the technical, instructional variety. And I've been a book lover and voracious book consumer for as long as I can remember. Kind of one of the jokes in my family is like, where's Lexi? Oh, just curled up with a book somewhere while all the other kids are running around me. But I've never really caught the creative writing bug. Sometimes in the last few years, I've kind of felt it knocking, and the idea of letting it in gets a little more tempting. But I am fascinated by people who do have it, who have always felt in their heart and soul that they have words, they have a story, they have a poem, they have a personal narrative that needs to be let out, that it must be let out in a way that does feel like food or shelter to them. It is a need that must be met. And I have a lot of admiration and frankly fascination with that crowd of people. So I feel lucky, really lucky, to, from my perch as editor, support these people, some of whom have never been given a stage any wider than their friends and family. And to give them that, if it's a jumping off point, if it's a stepping stone, if it's just one more accolade, either way, I get to do that. And that feels wonderful. So 2 times a year, I get to call the winner of each category. We do 4 categories. And I get to call them and say, is your story, poem, or essay still available? And if they hopefully say that yes, it is, then I get to say that I'm delighted to tell you that we've selected it as our top award winner. And truly, that is the best part of my job. Sometimes they gasp, sometimes they curse, sometimes they're just silent as they brace for the impact of what that means. It's never a dull conversation, and it often unspools into 20 or 30 minutes of learning about each other and our journeys and our lives. And so, yeah, that keeps me coming back.
That is amazing. Like, I'm a little jealous now because we have 2 awards. And I'm not gonna lie, I never get to call them and be like, okay. It's always an email that's sent out, and then you get this, oh my goodness, thank you so much. And I'm like, I never hear the inflection, so I'm a little jealous.
Oh, you should try it. You should try it next round. Give them a call instead. You'll make their day, and they might make yours right back.
Oh my goodness, that would be so amazing. I can't imagine how much fun that would be. Oh my goodness. Anyway, so I have to go into the narcissism section of this entire thing but I feel like I have done more than enough narcissism for one day. And as you can see, I'm playing with my flipping hair again. But I have to ask, like, so what does it take for, I don't know, an adorable African-American author that has cute little pearl dice earrings to be in your magazine? I'm joking. So what does it take for anyone to submit to be in your magazine?
What does it take? To submit, it just takes your own bravery and a $20 entry fee. To win, it just has to be the best. It has to be the best out of all the other writers and all their pieces. And I'll just be honest here. The best in this case is very subjective. It's the one that lights me up the most. The one that, it's funny. Oftentimes, I have other people who do some of the screening for me, but I always make the final call. And what happens is, so I'll narrow it down from, say, the 50 or 100 that have been selected by my screeners as the best in each category. And then I'll read those myself. But what also happens sometimes is that I am just too antsy and I want to dig into those submissions myself along with the screeners. So sometimes I'll read, say 100 across the categories before anyone else has had eyes on them. And it's amazing to me that what happens quite a little bit is, so say in the first month after the deadline, I'll read 100 submissions and there'll be one that just really takes my breath away and that I can't quit thinking about. But I have to just put it down and go on to the next one because it wouldn't be a very fair contest if I just stopped there. But what I'm delighted to find is that often that submission that I loved so much will then make its way up the ranks to me. And then after reading everything else, all the finalists that have been selected, I'll run across that one again and it will still shine just as brightly as it did. And those are really the best phone calls to make.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so where can everyone find this magazine that we have been talking about online and then order the anthology in print, I'm assuming once a year? Where can they all find this? Oh, I lied before I asked that question because that's the final question. I need to ask, because yes, I'm still in my narcissist kick. I need to ask, do you have any advice for, I don't know, any other people out there that want to start and/or own a literary magazine or journal?
That is a really good question. I would say that in a lot of ways, it's never been easier to start an endeavor like this. The internet has just opened the world up to us. Of course, the flip side of that is, in the same way it's never been easier to start your own podcast, there's never been more competition. So at New Millennium Writings, we cast a pretty wide net. There's no content is off limits, no form or structure is taboo or excluded. It's just what works the best, what tells the best story, what brings out the most feels. So we cast a wide net. Other successful groups have had more luck, and maybe for those editors, gotten more joy out of focusing in, on whether it's a specific audience or a specific subject matter or a specific type of message that you want to put out there. So I guess I would say that figure out what you love to read and what you want to see more of in the world, and then try to find the people who are writing those works.
And can you tell us a bit about Sunshots Press?
Sunshots
Press and newspaper.org.
Okay, I will. Now, I should say here that when my ex-husband and I divorced, that was part of the divorce process, was splitting the business. It's okay. That's all right. So sunshots.org and newspaper.org are now the purview of my ex-husband, Brent Carr. And frankly, those other arms of New Millennium Writings were mostly his creation. and he did them very well, especially sun shots. I'm really proud to be associated with the 4 books that we published, and one of which was a finalist for one of the Penn Awards, and all of which brought a lot of delight and engrossing content and some really powerful work out into the world. I'm very, very proud of that work that we did together, but truthfully, credit where it's due was Brent's undertaking.
Wow. The first time I've ever thought about editing a show in my life. No, I'm joking.
What are you thinking? What are you thinking?
So like when I ask the question, never mind, no, because then I'll actually have to edit. So can you go ahead where we can read newmillenniumwriting.org and buy that anthology? Because yes, sadly for me, because it looks so cute on screen right now, sadly for me, this interview is coming to a close.
Well, sadly for me as well, because I won't be getting to look at your beautiful hair and earrings and smile. Absolutely. So you can read all our winners at newmillenniumwritings.org. And for those who would like to enter our contest, you can do so on Submittable, which you can find that link just by going to Submittable, typing in New Millennium Writings, or through our website, you can just hit the Submit Now, and we hope that you will, button and be taken right to our page where you'll see that first headline I mentioned.
And you guys, I'm telling you, it is just that easy. Honestly, I found them because I submitted to their magazine. And then I read like all their stuff and I was like, oh my word, y'all, this is some really good stuff. So please go buy the anthology. I mean, you can do the whole online thing, but buy the anthology. It's worth having in your home. Definitely worth having in your home.
Do have more than 20 years worth of anthologies available. Some of them are reaching such low stores that it hurts my heart a little bit to mail the copy out each time, but they are all amazing and I can get lost in them. Even now, even the ones that I help choose and edit and read over and over and over again, they're worth it.
You make me feel like I'm not a narcissist when I get lost in my own work.
Hey, there's a difference between being a narcissist and knowing your own damn worth. And I think we're both falling on the right side of that.
I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up for me over here, which is normally 2 people. Normally the ladies would be together. But since it's just one, I'll get some. I represent the ladies today. What? All right, I'm Winona and I represent the ladies today. And you can find out everything that the ladies are doing at www.andithoughladies.com. And while you're there, go down to the middle of the page, no longer at the bottom, but you've got a raise up to the middle of the page. And you can see the charities that we proudly support. We ask in advance that you please go ahead and help them out. And because, I mean, it's a hard time for everyone. We're all recovering and you know the charities are as well. So give them a little support, give them a little love. And we thank you in advance for that. Remember that wisdom is all around you if you're open to finding it and accepting it. So peace and love, you guys, from Winona and the Missing Jade. Oh yeah, thanks for listening.